WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Tonight we begin with breaking news out of Tupelo, a major development today in a civil suit filed by the family of Ronnie Shumpert, who was shot and killed by a Tupelo police officer.
Our Allie Martin has been running down the details. He joins us now live from Tupelo with the very latest on this.
That's right. We are here with Tupelo Mayor Jason Shelton. We've just learned within the past hour that that civil case has been dismissed by Judge Sharon Aycock. We have the mayor here. Mayor Shelton, tell us your reaction to this. You just learned about this.
Just learned about it, roughly an hour ago, as you said. But I think this brings a little bit of closure to this issue for the city of Tupelo. We went through the initial criminal investigation by the MBI, went through the grand jury investigation, now through the entire civil litigation and discovery process, and at each turn it was found that Officer Cook and the Tupelo Police Department acted within the confines of the law. And so I think this will allow us to bring some closure to this matter in the city of Tupelo and allow us to get back together as a city and be a unified city working to better the city of Tupelo together.
Since all this has happened, there's been a lot of changes. The Citizens Review Board, they are meeting Wednesday, I think, their regular meeting. So a lot has happened since the initial event, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It was something that created a very strong reaction in our community, and we a lot of feelings from members of the community were brought to the forefront. And so we, as a city, as administration, police department, tried to be as proactive as possible to make changes where changes needed to be made, but at the same time not just make changes for the sake of change, to do things that would be meaningful and beneficial for the city of Tupelo. We've got, I think, a better understanding of the situation now, and then, like I said, the state of Mississippi's first advisory board to work with the Tupelo Police Department and the community to make sure that information flows back and forth and that we can be responsive to our citizens.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Once again, the civil suit against the city filed by Carlos Moore on behalf of the Shumpert family has been dismissed. We'll have more reaction coming up. For now, we're in Tupelo. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Allie. The investigation into an officer-involved shooting in Columbus over the weekend continues tonight. Earlier today, city leaders met with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, wanting permission to release Officer Jared Booth's body camera footage from the incident.
However, Columbus police say that request was denied. Our Quentin Smith has been following this story since it first broke. He joins us now in the studio with the very latest. Quentin.
Andrea, at this time, MBI says it doesn't have a comment on the investigation. Officer Booth was called to the Premier Lounge about a disturbance. Sources tell WCBI, while Booth was talking with a security guard, 2 shots were fired. Booth then ran toward the gunfire. Several men were fighting over a gun when Booth ran across the street. Our sources say, as Raymond Davis turned toward Booth, the gun was pointed at the officer, and that's when Booth fired his weapon. Davis died a short time later. People with direct knowledge of the investigation tell us less than 15 seconds had passed between the time Booth heard the first shots and then fired his weapon. Today, I spoke with a member on the CPD Overview Committee who's seen the body cam footage. Here's what they had to say.
When I first saw it and I saw how quickly it happened, I was kind of taken aback. I was, I'm a lady. So seeing somebody get shot is not a comfortable feeling. But once it was slowed down for us, I actually got a chance to see if I put myself in those shoes or if anybody was still in those shoes, and to say that you would handle that situation differently, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
District Attorney Scott Colon tells us that once MBI completes this investigation, he will give the findings to the Attorney General's office to present to a grand jury. He could not give a timeline on when that might happen or if a special grand jury will be called. Joey, back to you.
All right, thanks, Quentin. Surprise checkpoints in Monroe County land a known drug dealer and 3 others in the Monroe County Jail. Christopher Meisenholder of Hamilton was arrested Saturday for possession of a controlled substance and possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says 26 grams of ice was found in his car. Cantrell says that's the largest amount he's found in a single stop. Christopher Pennington, Tina Welch, and Jaslyn Petrie were also arrested over the weekend after deputies found drugs in their vehicles. In separate checkpoints along Bartahatchee and Wolf Roads, deputies seized ecstasy, meth, and 2 guns. Cantrell says his department continues to work clearing drugs from the county.
Our deputies are working hard, our investigators are working hard to send a message to the drug dealers. You better go to another county because we're working here in this county to make our county as safe and as clean as possible.
3 of the suspects were on probation with MDOC. All are still being held in the Monroe County Detention Center. Time now to turn our attention to weather, and meteorologist Amanda Reynolds joins us with a first look at your forecast. Amanda?
Well, it was a little bit of a dreary Monday, and we have a few showers to blame for that. We have one just to the southeast of Columbus that's dissipating, but the bulk of the rain just across the Tennessee border. Now, that rain not going to affect us too much until we get into the next few days as it starts to sag to the south, but it's a pretty warm one out there. Most of us sitting in the 70s. The cool air is not far away. It's just off to our north, and we'll be waiting for it to arrive later this week, but I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot. Hearing dates are set in 2 mayoral election challenges in Noxubee County. In Macon, James Harlan is challenging the runoff primary election that took place back on May 16th. Incumbent Mayor Bob Boykin won that race and was reelected mayor. Harlan is questioning how absentee ballots were handled, among other things. The hearing is set for December 13th and 14th. Meanwhile, in Brooksville, Early Henley Jr. believes the absentee ballots in the mayoral race there should be thrown out. This hearing will take place December 11th and 12th.
Unless a compromise is reached, it appears the recent 2% restaurant tax proposal is in trouble. This morning, Lowndes County supervisors approved the plan in a 3-2 vote. Lawmakers say a unanimous vote by city and county leaders is needed before presenting any plan to the legislature. At issue, Columbus leaders want some of the restaurant tax money to help its Parks and Recreation Department and a majority of voting members on the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. The county recently completed its disassociation from the Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority, but did agree to provide some services and money. Supervisor Leroy Brooks shared the city's request, but not everyone agreed.
We talk about recreation, and the conversation came up in there, but we met because the mayor directed Greg to try to come up with a comprehensive recreation part, and he wanted us to be a part of the advisory committee.
We didn't pull that much financial aid from them because we've given it in other ways. And I want the park to be successful, and I think that's being used against us a lot, and it wasn't done in a way to try to hurt the city.
The city has yet to vote on the plan. It would give the Link $250,000 a year, and the rest of the money would go to the CVB. Officials from those organizations were not available for comment today. Well, if you're building a home or a commercial facility, your building will have to pass inspection.
Lowndes County is one of the few counties in the state to have a county inspector. WCBI's Parker King learns more about the process, and he joins us live in the studio with more.
The county inspector sets guidelines for the building code. County leaders say this universal system ensures most buildings are safe and will last a long time.
Electric, plumbing, framing. These are a few of the points building inspectors look for during building projects.
We make sure that they got the right amount of steel, that the slabs are designed and what they should be according to the prints. We look at structures, you know, as far as if the structure of the house has the integrity it should have.
For Lowndes County, the process is a little different because there is a department of building inspectors. And one look at a map can show you why the department is needed.
FEMA requires us to, to make all kind of reports on floodplain areas. Lowndes County has a tremendous amount of flood zones and flood area, and of course we have 2 or 3 rivers that go through Lowndes County, so it's a big problem sometimes, but we address it and do the best we can.
The department was created in 1992. Employees say, so far, the work speaks for itself.
Polk County has told me sometime back that fires, as far as having fires in houses and problems they had, that really dropped drastically since the county started doing inspecting. A lot of our contractors, especially the good ones, they tell us, well, we appreciate the job you do, you know. Sometimes it's like other jobs, you don't get a lot of praise for, but, you know, if you do your job right as an inspector, and you can see the results.
In Lowndes County, Parker King, WCBI News.
That's not particular to any building. The department inspects both residential buildings and commercial buildings.
A 14th century tale never gets old for a West Alabama school.
We go on a pilgrimage from Vernon to Canterbury when we come back.
Watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. Regular library hours will continue in Hamilton and Wren after a vote by the Monroe County Board of Supervisors. The Tom Bigby Regional Library System says it would be forced to reduce services because of a funding shortfall from the state. Today, county leaders agreed to give the agency $10,000 to cover the salary of employees at those two facilities for about 10 hours a week. The library system operates 5 libraries in the county. Supervisors agreed to pay the money this year, but they want to talk about future funding.
Over the next year, try to get our hands around the funding situation. You know, how much money comes from the state, how much money, you know, they need to operate those libraries.
The library system operates in Clay, Webster, and Monroe counties.
Some high school students go medieval in West Alabama today as Vernon took on an air of 14th century England. Lamar County High School students are making their annual pilgrimage into the works of Geoffrey Chaucer. As part of the study of the Canterbury Tales, the students take on the roles of the story's main characters. The research helps them learn more about the period and the people.
And I'm the knight servant, and I like to hunt, and I basically just do whatever the knight says. And I wear green, and I wear a St. Christopher's medal.
This is the 13th year for English students to bring the Canterbury Tales to life.
Well, the cooler weather is not too far away, but before we get there, we have to brave a few showers and storms, and they could begin as early as tonight. I'll have your full forecast coming up right after the break.
First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
It was a little bit of a cloudy, dreary day across much of North Mississippi, but that meant it was a pretty good day to spend some time indoors with the students at Winston Academy down near Louisville. So it was a pretty nice afternoon. We talked about hurricane forecasting and about the season so far this year. Showed them some cool satellite images, as well as we talked a little bit about the Ring of Fire and the tectonic plates out in the Pacific. So it was a pretty great morning out there across the area. Now, if you want us to come visit your classroom, you can fill out our form on WCBI.com. You can find Weather School underneath the Weather tab. Now, we're not expecting too much active weather here in our area over the next few days, just a few showers and storms, but it's still pretty warm out there, 73 degrees right now in Tupelo. So we're pretty warm for mid-November, but you're noticing the cool air is not too far away. There's a nice stationary front just off to our north, and it's going to kind of hang out there for, say, the next 24 hours or so before it finally starts to drift to the south, and it'll bring that cooler weather as well as the chance for some showers and storms. Now, we've seen a few blips on the radar so far today. Most of them, though, have been across the northern tier. The big bulk of the rain is off into central parts of Tennessee, where they've seen numerous showers and thunderstorms. Now, that's kind of what's associated with that stationary front, and this will all kind of sag to the south overnight tonight and into the next few days as well. So tonight, though, we'll drop down to around 67 degrees. Can't rule out the chance of a few of those showers or storms, but they'll become more prevalent through the day tomorrow. So again, we can't rule out the chance for those showers and storms, but once we get past the rain, we'll be much more fall-like on the backside of this cold front. So again, tomorrow we'll see temperatures in the mid-70s. We'll see those rain showers and storms, and we will keep those breezy conditions as well. So Futurecast showing that cold front going to continue to push off down to the south. We'll see those showers and storms become more numerous as we go into the day tomorrow. But once that finally shoves to our south, we'll see a little bit more rain through the day on Wednesday. But once we get through Wednesday evening, we'll be much drier and much cooler as well. So make sure you join us tomorrow at our severe weather awareness event at Susan's Hallmark in Columbus. You can come and get your weather radio programmed. You can meet with Keith and I, so make sure you go ahead and join us. But no severe weather on the 7-day, just those rain showers and storms tomorrow and Wednesday. But again, once we get past that, we'll be much, much cooler.
Coming up, we hear from Dan Mullen and our SEC area coaches on Saturday's crucial encounters on the gridiron. That's coming up next in sports.
CBI Weather School is brought to you by Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point. WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
All the numbers are against the Bulldogs for Saturday. Alabama hasn't lost to Dan Mullen since he arrived in Starkville, and MSU hasn't defeated the AP #1 team in the nation since 1980. But it just so happens that game back in 1980, you probably remember it well if you're a Bulldog fan, was against the Bear and #1 Alabama. So how can MSU defy the odds and beat the Tide? Dan Mullen has the belief they can do it this year.
Same way we've done it all along. Mississippi State's never been able to go to a lot of bowl games, never been #1 in the country. Never had a lot of wins records. That's just what we've done. That's what the program that we've built here that's what the whole thing is based on.
The difference in a year is huge. I have a lot more experience playing games, a lot more practice experience, just overall a lot more knowledge about football. I'm confident in my teammates around me that we're going to go out there and make plays. So I don't really see. Last year was kind of last year. This year is this year.
At Alabama, Nick Saban and the Tide preparing to face one of the top rushing quarterbacks in SEC history, Nick Fitzgerald, as he continues to climb the leaderboard in his junior season. And Saban focused on shutting down #7.
They have a lot of quarterback runs, so basically you're playing against Wildcat every snap. But because it's a quarterback and he has great ability to throw, that's something that you have to take into consideration and make sure that you can defend, their passing game as well. Any of these guys that are athletic enough to make plays with their feet can execute quarterback runs and do it with a level of toughness that is equal to a running back. I think those kinds of guys create lots of problems for everybody on defense, not just the linebackers.
At Ole Miss, the Rebels coming off a huge road win at Kentucky. Spirits are high in Oxford going into Saturday's encounter with Louisiana Lafayette, as Matt Luke wants his team to focus on building off last Saturday's win.
I think the biggest thing is we have 17 days left guaranteed together, and we got to make the best of each one of those 17 days. That's what we talked about in the locker room after the game. And with this young team only having 12 seniors, we just talk about, hey, we're learning. We're learning how to get better. We're learning how to win. You keep putting yourself in position to win games, you're going to win your share. And I think you just talk about getting 1 week better and taking advantage of all 17 days that we're guaranteed left together.
Your Saturday slate, Ole Miss at 11 a.m. We have Georgia Auburn for you at WCBI, Florida, South Carolina before that, and then Bama MSU, 6 p.m. kick on ESPN. To baseball at East Webster, one of the top up-and-coming pitchers in the area made it official. Senior Walker Johnson signed to continue his diamond dreams with the East Central Warriors following graduation. Walker has been lighting up the Cotton States Baseball League this fall, producing a 7-0 record on the mound with a .92 ERA, as well as 91 strikeouts in 39 innings pitched. As a junior for the Wolverines, Walker was 8-2 with a 1.17 ERA. He's eager to play at East Central and continue to improve as a power pitcher.
When I go up there, that I'm going to get good coaches, and that I'm definitely become a better baseball player, and know that it's a community that supports the baseball team for sure. And I really like the coaches, and I feel like it's a place that's a lot like Cumberland and East Webster.
He's worked really hard in the weight room. He's played a lot of baseball. You know, he didn't play so much baseball when he was little, but he just started pitching in the 10th grade. And he's hungry, he's still learning, but he has a lot of potential. I think his best days are definitely ahead of him.
We've got all sorts of signings this week. UPora tomorrow, a ton Wednesday. We're Cal Junior Thursday, so we'll be busy this week.
All right. Sounds good. We'll be right back.
The rain will move in tomorrow, and we'll kind of deal with it off and on Tuesday and Wednesday, but after that will be much drier, much cooler as well. 50s only on Wednesday, and then we'll be back into the 60s. So it'll finally feel like fall and what it's actually supposed to be like in November.
Because it did several days
It
ago.
did for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Amanda. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.